discipline, you can't even discover it. If you're not motivated to go to the gym, and that has resulted in you being, you're a bee in the beehive and you're trying to escape it. And the only way out is gonna be, I had willpower when I had a house full of 75 women, when I refused to sleep with them and kept my mind focused on the money. So it's all about that, you know? It's all about self-control and self-discipline and making sure that you are the center of your own universe. And a lot of people agree with this, and a lot of people say this, and they go, yeah. But it's very rare to meet someone who's serious about it, in my experience. If you're truly serious about brute willpower, you can achieve anything. Like, you could do absolutely anything. That's what it's all about. So I've just had the same universal stubbornness and refusal to fail. And anything I've ever applied it at, I've done very well with for that reason. If I wasn't disciplined enough to train, I would have never seen my talent, because the guy with less talent than me, who trained harder than me, would have been kicking my ass. So you don't get to discover anything about yourself. You don't get to discover any of your genetic advantages, any of your talents. You don't get to discover anything about who you are as an individual, your spirit, your soul, what you're made of. Without discipline, you can't even discover anything. So discipline is a key to discovery. Discipline teaches you all about yourself. It teaches you what you really have. You know, there's a whole bunch of people out there that might be the best pianist in the world, but they've never had the discipline to learn piano. So nobody knows. And that's how life works. So discipline is extremely important if you ever want to become anybody or be anything. And everybody knows this, and it's a bit cliche to say, right? But I think that is the common theme. I was extremely disciplined as a child. I had a very disciplined upbringing playing chess, and I could take that upbringing and self-discipline and apply it to myself with everything else I've done, fighting and webcam studios, and now I own casinos and mentorships, et cetera, et cetera. I make millions and millions of dollars, and people look at me and go, oh, but how? And I'm like, what do you mean how? Do the right things every day like you're supposed to, on time, every day, and life usually comes together. I really believe that. Discipline isn't taught, and the idea of being disciplined is seen as negative. And we also live in a world where everything and everybody is vying for our attention. Everything. There's ads everywhere, YouTube happens quickly, kids are being raised with iPads. Like when I was a kid or you were a kid, we had a coloring book. Now they got flashing lights and little video games. Like, how do you think you're gonna keep his attention as he grows old? He's been entertained by some of the best software developers in the world permanently for since the second he could pick up an iPad. So your attention's very, very difficult, and that's what discipline is really. It's the ability to stay focused on one thing for a long period of time. And I think most people don't realize how bad their attention span is, or how much discipline they lack, until they really start to suffer from it. Life's gonna punish you. Sooner or later, life's gonna wake you up, you know? And the reality of mastery and the reality of success is that it's not really a glamorous story. Like, how do you become the best boxer in the world? You do the same thing over and over for 15 years, jab, cross, hook. Like, it's boring, you know? Yeah. But that's what discipline is. So the idea that a lot of people want to be constantly entertained, I wanna be entertained, that's boring. Well, that's why you need discipline. People wanna be constantly motivated. Oh, I don't feel motivated. Listen, if you're not motivated to go to the gym, and that has resulted in you being obese, suffering health adversity, so you've now damaged your health. On top of that, you're less attractive to females. On top of that, your energy levels are lower. If you really need motivation to just lose weight and live a life worth living, then there's something wrong with you. I train every single day, and I'm never motivated, but I'm disciplined. I never wake up and think, yeah, I want to train. I've been training my whole life. I'm bored of it. But it's something that has to be done, right? So the idea of entertainment, the idea of motivation, these things are completely detrimental to discipline. People come to me all the time and say, how do I get motivated? I say, you don't, you get disciplined. So do you want to be a loser, or do you want to do X? It has nothing to do with motivation. So a lot of these things, people are constantly distracted. And I think a lot of the things that are taught and told about discipline are actually detrimental to a disciplined mindset as a whole. So how do you keep people slaves? Well, you keep them distracted. You keep them distracted from themselves and how they feel and the reality of life long enough so that they just continue to work until they die. That's what all of this mainstream mindset is. That's what it all is. And they constantly will do anything it takes to stop you from waking up and focusing on yourself. There's certain people out there, everyone's seen The Matrix, right? If you're one of them people who's trying to wake up and there's something itching in your brain and you just don't understand what's wrong, and you're just don't feel quite right in life, you're a bee in the beehive and you're trying to escape it. And the only way out is gonna be through disciplined actions one way or another. You know, they do this with mainstream culture on purpose. They make absolute morons famous. The only way to get out is through disciplined action. So you need to become extremely disciplined with yourself as an individual if you care about escaping the beehive. If you don't care about escaping, then stay a slave. That's completely up to you. But discipline's a key component. There's no other way out. There is no other way out. That is it. It's something you have to do, and you're gonna have to do things you don't wanna do on time every single day, or you're gonna suffer the consequence. That's how life works. And the point is, when you're getting your ass kicked, you're out of breath. But if you're kicking someone's ass, you don't get out of breath. It's weird how that works, but life's the same, right? So if you give anybody a business idea and they start to make money, and they're making money, now they're making more money, now they're making more money, most people will have all the motivation and discipline they need to continue doing X idea and become very, very rich. The problem is people try things, they don't work. They try something, no money's coming in. They've tried something else, it's been a year, they don't see the results. And that's the hard part. That's where the discipline's really, really important, because you're never tired when you're winning, right? So one of the things you can do is you got to find ways and metrics to measure success. Maybe your goal is to get rich, but you build a website, it's your goal to get rich. You're not making any money yet, but visitors are going up, right? So at least you have some kind of metric. You need to pay attention to your successes. You need to pay attention to them, because that's going to give you all the energy and motivation, the word I don't like to use, the discipline that you need to keep going. So you kind of got to be an adaptable individual, but you have to look for the positive in the universe. And I really mean that. Like, I'm definitely not one of them airy-fairy hippie, believe in the secret kind of people. But I do know that if you wake up every day and look for the positives in the universe, you usually end up, feeling more positive and doing more positive things than waking up and looking for the negative. And everything we said about mainstream media, they're only trying to show you the negative. They're only trying to piss you off. They're only trying to drag you down. They're not trying to say anything that makes you happy. So if you're gonna listen to that crap, at least be immune to most of it, and you have to have your own internal clock, your own internal systems to make sure you stay on track. What I love to do is I love to fucking talk about it. Because if I talk about my success, it doesn't take much of my time. I can't really fall off. It's not like I've run around on a vodka binge, trying to celebrate. I just love to talk about it. I love to tell people, hey, guess what? This happened, this happened, this happened. I think I might be able to do this, this, and this next. And if you're surrounded by the right kind of people, they want to listen. If the people around you go, I don't care, then you shouldn't be talking to them anyway. If you're in a room full of, let me ask you, if you walk into a room and there's 5 men in there, and those 5 men are the best ice cream makers in the world, and you talk to them every single day, within a few months, you're going to know how to make ice cream. By hook or by crook, right? You're going to learn about ice cream, how to store it, how to make it, how to make the colors, how to make the flavors, because all they talk about is ice cream. If the people you meet and talk to only talk about money, guess what? You're going to learn how to make money. So I love to talk about my successes, and I love to talk to other people who like to listen and talk about their successes. And then you get a spiral, because everyone understands that a downward spiral is real. Everyone's discussed and understood the downward spiral. People don't understand an upward spiral. An upward spiral is just as real as a downward spiral. My entire life was an upward spiral. I became kickboxing world champion. It made me a little bit of money, but not that much money. I had a whole bunch of girls who adored me because I'm a kickboxer. They're from all around the world. I moved them all to London. I had a big apartment. They started webcamming. I made millions of dollars. Then I bought a casino. It's all just an upward spiral for me. And that's just, the energy in a positive direction all the time. And if I ever sat there and tried to talk to somebody about money or business ideas or whatever, and they were uninterested, then I was uninterested in talking to them, because that's all I have ever cared about. What else is there to talk about? Like, genuinely, what, movies, sports, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah, don't get me started, bro. Yeah. But this is the point, right? So you should talk about your successes all the time, and you should only be surrounded by people who want to listen, and listen to their feedback. Maybe they've got some advice, whatever, and listen to their successes too, and create a positive environment for yourself.